Hello and welcome to episode 13 of our Timberborn Update 6 Waterbeavers playthrough here in Cycle 13, Day 1, start of a temperate cycle. And today, we're going to solve a lot of irritating problems and continue to make some good progress toward finally having our floodgate dams constructed. Let's go ahead and get this on triple speed, get through the rest of the night here. And yes, friends, rejoice, for these are going to go away. No longer will you have to suffer through the flashing icons. We're just going to let these spread the rest of the way out through here. We don't need to worry about it. We just need to make sure that these are able to be harvested sustainably. So, what we will do instead is just deselect a few of them so that it never completely goes away and can just more or less respawn if it's ever removed. So, that does mean that this can go away as well. And this is just a nice little pin for them. For now, we may end up using this as more water storage at some point. But there's been a bunch of really good ideas that you guys had, and I wanted to acknowledge that today by first of all, outside of doing that, right here, received a good comment on the last video that said, why don't you put a Lido and a water dump here and then just leave this completely blocked all the time? Well, we're not pumping enough water right now for that to be a thing, but if we take a look, first of all, remember where the thing goes. First of all, take a look at the irrigations where the Lido got moved to. This is actually a really good place for that to go. All we would have to do would be to get rid of a few of these berry bushes, which would not be that big of a deal. And then, of course, we'd build this, and then we'd build a fluid dump. I had mistakenly thought these had to be unlocked with science, and that's what I said in the comment reply. So ignore that, because it's already unlocked, ready to go. So I think that's probably a good goal for us to start working toward. I'm going to go ahead and say that we can take these 5 berry bushes out, and then this sunflower. Actually, that should not be demolished. That should just be deprioritized for planting. So we'll let them take care of that, and then we will need to put in... I haven't unlocked the platforms yet, but we will need to put in... There we go. Enunciate your words. One of these platforms here, that'll take care of that, and this will make a fantastic, not only irrigation spot, but also some nice recreation, and keep these things irrigated very, very nicely, and then we won't ever have to worry about this again. But I digress. Still plenty to get to today. We've made some very good progress the last couple of episodes trying to keep the beavers alive, and obviously we would like for that to continue. So, other stuff that we have not yet done. We did build the glorious storage for the anvil for when we eventually get this primitive ironworks out of the way. But I asked a question about why are the brain-boosting salts in the paper not coming out of the mechanics lodge? Well, somebody, not going to use any names, it was me, but somebody did not build a storage for any of that stuff. So we have the, not the opportunity, we have the obligation to fix that. So let's go ahead. First of all, remember where this stuff goes. Scrap metal storage right here. Probably doesn't need to be here. What other storage do we have? Okay, yeah, we got plenty. I'm going to change this to be storage for... Oh, that doesn't go in here, does it? It does not. Okay, well, the pile goes away then. That can disappear. Just because this is a convenient place to, you know, just put something. Just a little bit of a storage for paper, which, again, we have none. And then this space right here, remember, was going to be a third one of these primitive mines, so I'm not going to build anything here. I'm just going to leave that open. And again, just because we have this space available, that is where I'm going to put just a little tiny storage for some brain-boosting salts, just so we have somewhere for those to go. We're going to reorganize all of this eventually, maybe, probably, but just so we can start solving that problem. Just going to let it be what it's going to be. This guy is making gears because we do have the blueprints for the floodgate dam, but they are kind of locked up in this mess. The Copyist Lodge has 5 fancy blueprints, but did not have enough paper to actually copy them into regular blueprints. The Artist Lodge has nothing in it because, well, it copied this 5 times, and that's just the way that it went. So, the 5 fancy blueprints will allow us to either build 5 of these once we, you know, unlock this with science, or we can turn each one of those fancy ones into 5 normal blueprints. So right now it's not that big of a deal, but people did ask what happened to the blueprints because they didn't see it here. Well, there wasn't any storage for them, so that's why that's not showing up. It's just in one of these building things. But I had thought that I'd placed a storage for one of those, and I don't remember where it is. So let's just check and see here. One of these should have something to do with blueprints, if I actually did place it. And I don't see that, so I guess we never did. Oh, that's right, because it had to be researched, and it needed the platforms, which we can't make because we have not made an architect's lodge. That makes sense. So again, this is one of those things that requires paper and all that stuff that we don't really have a ton of, so I wasn't in a big hurry to make it. But we are going to need one soon. The question is whether or not the floodgate dam is more important. And we do have just about all the materials for this, pretty much. You know, logs are logs, but we are just about ready, science-wise, to unlock that. So long as the library can keep things moving along, that was one of the reasons the brain-boosting salts needed a place to go, so that they could be taken out of the mechanics lodge and then brought back in here. Everything else is looking pretty good. In fact, if we had extra beavers, I would be putting them in here. But we don't. We're still trying to get our numbers up a little bit. So now that we've gotten rid of the super annoying flashing stuff here, this has cleaned this up just a tiny bit. The flooded buildings, of course, are these storages that we've saved for drought purposes. Beavers are dirty. They do that. Mild disease. Unfortunate. The injuries are supposed to be taken care of with the half-fermented sake, but we haven't made enough of that yet. In fact, I don't remember which one of these is making it, though. This one? Okay, and it doesn't have enough rice because the rice has not yet grown, so that's fine. That's the way it is. We're just going to have to, you know, let that be what it's going to be. Contaminated beavers get uncontaminated pretty easily here, so that's fine. Water-wise, it's going to continue increasing. I feel like I can go ahead and just unpause this water pump as well, so we have as many beavers as possible working on this. We probably, before too long, are going to want to put some pump extensions on top of these three guys here, and then maybe redo some of these to make this a little bit more logical in how it's constructed. But again, it also takes time. Also, the bad water situation needs to be improved. The only way we can improve that is by building a small bad water pump, which does not have to be powered, but it does have to be submerged. The propeller has to be submerged, and it does work as a levee. So you take a look at this building. The way to do it, as we've discovered before, just put this in single speed and hide the UI so I can show you. The way we've done this before is you place this so that it would be submerged in bad water, but then you build another building on top of it so that the bad water doesn't come over it. And for that to work, it has to be, say, placed maybe in like a really narrow part to where this can still have water over it, but I don't really have a good spot on the map right now for that to work. It's, again, going to be kind of a pain to stick this somewhere. But eventually we do need to take care of that. This is just a bigger version of the same thing. For now, the best we can do is to have a bad water bucketing post, but it does take 1.5 hours to get one bad water. We have 2 of these active. And then, of course, this building in 1 hour will make 3. So it is tremendously, tremendously more efficient, and so on and so forth. Just has to have somewhere to go. So that is one of those things where probably the easiest thing for us to do would be to put it down here and then build a bunch of buildings around it to create kind of a dry space. Or if we're willing to just say, okay, all the beavers who live here will just be constantly contaminating everything, then we can just stick it down here and it's going to be fine. But because it is a house, it's just going to continuously contaminate beavers. And, you know, we don't have the washing machine yet, so I don't think that's a smart idea. Just trying to explain the rationale behind that. But take a look up here. We got 192 science. 196 now. So that means very, very soon we're going to have 200. Which means at very long last we will be able to build the floodgate dam and put our contamination station solution nonsense completely out of its misery. That's going to be great. So, before we get to that though, I clicked the wrong thing because that's just how it goes. I'm going to pop this Lido in here, and I'm going to pop this fluid dump right there. And that is going to have a path right the way through here. This sunflower needs to be harvested. I don't know if this is even reachable. It is not. Okay, well, in that case, I am not going to feel bad about just getting rid of it. That will be just fine as we get into, I think, day 4, looks like. Yep. Cool, so that gives them something to do just about at that 200. It takes its time because, of course, it does. It knows I'm trying to make a point of this. All right, there's that 200. Now, we come in here, examine our requirements, and we just got 20 gears. We do not have 150 logs. That's the killer. But we do... Oh, wrong button. We do have trees of the Everblossom variety that are going to be growing in the next couple of days. And we have some other ones up here we haven't cut down. And now that we have access to the wooden stairs, that's going to make things a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and say that is going to be a very important thing for us to get to. Probably sooner rather than later. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say here to here is fine. Just get those. I don't need to keep these pine trees because I have this whole grove here. So I'm just going to say clear cut the whole thing all the way across, and then we will continue making some stairs up here. Not that there's really any reason to get up into this. There's not really any diversion capability we can have with this, but we got to have the trees cut. That is not negotiable. They're powering through all of these ruins here, so that's good to keep an eye on. Obviously, we have some up here that are going to be fine. And the long-term goal is to get back here, there's a ton of trees over here, and put in a diversion which will require a lot of blasting. Remember, this is update 6, so we do not have access to tunnels. We have to actually, create a diversion here, and that is going to be a process. But that is most of the reason why I want to get one of these floodgate dams, so we can eventually take care of that. The other one is, well, I just, I want to keep this stuff able to be set off and solve most of our problems. You take a look at the footprint of this thing. It is large. I am slightly concerned this will cause some flow issues, but if it does, we can always just blast a couple squares out. Should not be an issue. If it is, then we'll solve that when we get to it. I am not confident at this exact moment we can get 150 logs before the next bad tide would occur, so I'm not going to build it yet. It is still going to be much cheaper for us to come in and put a 2-story watertight lodge in. That can almost assuredly be built within some sort of reasonable quickness. So we're just doing what we can. That is always how this has worked. So put this back on triple speed. If we get to 300 science, then I will go ahead and get the Architect's Lodge started. That only requires 10 logs. And all the other materials for that we do have. Paper is being made at kind of a breakneck pace, actually. We need to have a little bit more storage for paper, which is going to need somewhere. I'll just go ahead. Because this space is available, why not just pop that in here? Again, it's just a mess. It is what it is. These guys are swimming very nicely. They shouldn't get too polluted. But this should be more or less good to go. We might want to think about sectioning this off so we're not completely filling everything so much, but for right now I think things are fine. We can always pause just the fluid dump, which I will continue to do now because we don't have a lot of water, but we'll keep this in our back pocket, so to speak. Bramble's looking good. Food is looking good, even though, 2/3 of it's the rice balls. The cabbage, once that is harvested appropriately, will continue going into making braised cabbage. And these are both set to that, so that's why that's happening that way. Totally fine. Everything is looking a-okay. These guys here, this farmhouse, definitely can use an assistant farmer. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that in. I do see we have 54 logs, but that's because we got in here. And there's still plenty more to get to. So I will go ahead and do that. Get this situated. A couple of berry bushes here, which of course are going to be very useful. And I don't know how much more of this I can climb realistically. without things becoming a problem. So, gonna see a little bit... Nope, that needs to be rotated the other way. Gonna see a little bit more shenanigans happening here with... Ah! You little scoundrel. 1%? I don't think so. Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't need that kind of energy here. I do have this... Oh, I don't have this shut off. That's a tremendous waste. Let's pause that immediately. we need to be hoarding the pollution resistance factor, not just dumping it into the ground when it's not necessary. That was a classic blunder. So this can store 150 of it, but it doesn't have brain-stimulating mushrooms because, again, the bad water situation is not sufficient for what we're trying to do. And I don't want to condemn the beavers to a lifetime of nastiness and suffering, so... Like, I know there's got to be a way. Got to be a way to make this happen. I think it might involve dynamite. Blasting a little bit of a trench in here. And then putting something else on top of it. I just have to be able to get into the entrance here. Which, also we have to, you know, research it. But I just have to have this one tile unlocked. So, like, if... Okay, well, this... I had to put that there for reasons, but... See, like, if I did... This would have to be down. Yeah, that would have to be down a couple more, but it could work. It could work if I just had this, I'd almost have to have it notched in there. Like, this would be a great way to do it if this water wasn't already going completely off the end of the map. Any spots... See, like, right here would maybe also be good if it was down more. Because then that would make that completely dry. Tell you what. Let's use our thinking caps here. This... Not going to be able to get up here unless I have a staircase to it. I do need to flatten this, I think, for this to work. Chestnut storage, rice storage, chestnut storage. Alright, I'm, Well, these are cheap to build. We'll just go ahead and put the stairs in there. They can get a little bit of infection as a treat, you know? So, 7 dynamite there. We have 7. We can continue making some. If we, please click. Thank you. We just have to make some nitroglycerin. And right here, the brain-boosting salts can't be made because, guess what? We don't have enough bad water. So, nitroglycerin is a perfectly fine thing for us to be making now. We have the saltpeters somewhere. Yeah, we have 50 of that stored. So, we'll just swap that over. Better to have productivity than not. Just let them do what they gotta do. We'll come back and check on that in a little bit, but I do need to have access to this tree to be able to demolish that. So that, yet again, a staircase because I don't have ladders unlocked yet. There's nothing there anyway, so that's not that big of a deal. We'll just put this in, make sure this tree can be cut, and there we go. And hey, guess what? We actually do have almost 150 logs. I did not think it was going to happen. So, seeing how we also have 300 science, I think now's the time, folks. Going to go ahead and get that floodgate dam popped in here. I really hope this doesn't cause water flow issues, but again, if it does, we can easily solve that problem by just blasting. Well, we can make the problem a little bit less terrible with the help of blasting. But now that we have confirmed that we have 5 fancy blueprints, it's totally fine for us to use one of those. That will work. That is the ideal spot for that to go. This is still, I guess, a little bit contaminated here, but it's better than nothing. So, we'll keep an eye on it. It's day 7. We probably still have at least another 4 or 5 days on the low end, so that'll be okay. This is in place. That's very good. These 2 workers will help tremendously with the rice and the cabbages. So you'll love to see that. We made any progress over here? I guess, kind of. Alright, let's put this back on triple speed. I try not to go too much into the triple speed because, you know, things can get really out of control in this mod if you let them. And I don't want to be in the business of chaos unless it's on purpose. So, let's let them grab that. Okay, do I have a what do you call it here? No, I do not. Alright. World's easiest lumberjack job. The only cuttable tree in the entire tri-state area. tri-state area being the area of influence here, is this one. So that should be a pretty quick thing. The reason I have not set this off yet is I would like to have this blasted down before we get to that part. Still have some time. Alright, so we do have some nitroglycerin, which means click, please, hello. You can hear my mouse button. There we go. Let's turn that on. And we will start making this. It is 10 sheets of paper, 10 units of nitroglycerin, and 10 units of sawdust to make 5 explosives. Dynamite, whatever you want to call it. That is fine. We do not have 10 nitroglycerin yet, but we will. Before too long, hopefully. All in the service of having a permanent bad water supply that is actually viable. It's just, you know, just the way it goes. So triple speed it is. Get through the rest of the night. See how these are spreading here? We're going to be totally fine with our, whatever these things are called. Bramble flowers. Made progress here. Yes, we did. Very good. I can't really get anything else out of this until we have ladders. So that is unfortunate. But right here, I do have access to 3 more trees that, you know, given the amount of wood we're going to get out of these, I feel like it is fine for us to just go ahead and put a platform here. Actually, no. I can use suspension bridges. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And there is a drop-off here that I can't get access to, but eventually we make this work. This guy has no more scrap to harvest, so that is a job that has been outmoded. Goodbye. Oh, I see some trees here that can be cut down. They are marked for cutting. Oh, this one can't reach. Okay. Well, that's fine. It is what it is. Got a pretty healthy amount of wood coming through here. So, I think because we don't have a storage for the blueprint, they don't know it exists. I have the science. I'm just going to go ahead. I forgot. I have to have the scaffolding. Okay, well, we're going to do this anyway, so Architect's Lodge, go. This building's fun. I got to turn off the UI, because it looks like a giant staircase. And I can't remember if it actually will or will not work as one, but it certainly seems like it's set up that way. This can also be put in water. It'll work as a levee. We have all sorts of options, but I thought, you know, what if this building got put on top of this thing? And I'm pretty sure it'll work. I just have to have this actually blasted out first. So if you'll bear with me for just a moment, I think I'm gonna be able to do something kind of cool here and solve a couple problems at once. Especially now that these watertight buildings can go on top of the platforms and stuff. All right, so progress continuing to be made here, slowly, but it is being made. Okay, this has 100 tools. This is set to fasteners. That's okay. That's still fine. Is this getting coal at the very least? No, it is getting saltpeter, which we're actively using. So I guess that's fine. We just need some more beavers, man. I'm trying not to grow the population too much until our food and water is in a little bit better situation. But it's going to massively improve once we can have this taken care of. All just takes time. So let's get this lumberjack flag up and running. Come in here and get rid of this one tree very, very quickly. Thank you very much. Grab those logs, please and thank you, before the end of your shift. Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, dynamite. I actually don't know if I'm going to need both of those to be removed. I don't know if this building... Oh, it is flippable. Alright, cool. So just that one by itself is going to be fine, and then aside from that, we are going to have to put in some stairs. The way we're going to do this might require a little bit more shenanigans in terms of where the stairs go down, but for now this is what we have to work with, and that is going to have to be good enough. Why do I have exhausted beavers? Go to sleep. And we need to do better water wheels as well. We can access the regular water wheels with 350 science and then 1,000 for the large ones, but those do have to be blueprinted. And I believe that is one of those things that comes out of here, and it is. Okay, but for right now, the gears are probably a little bit more important. We do have them dumping most of those into there. Scrap metal. Oh, scrap metal's 40. Okay. that might be a concern. The crude saw blades are going to do what the crude saw blades are going to do. The sawdust has to go somewhere else. And, okay, so this guy, loaded up with logs and water. I might have to turn, just to get rid of the sawdust without wasting it, I might have to turn some of these back to fast speed here. That one's at 92%, it's at 25. So that one is using sawdust, so it should be able to get some. Sawdust storage. I do have a lot of sawdust storage. I guess, man, I hate to just build so many more storages for sawdust, but I feel like we're going to need to do more. So that does go in a pile. Large pile, for better or for worse. See, I want to be able to still get around this. Alright, I mean, I know it's far away, but it's a spot we have access to, and I guess that is probably going to be pretty important. So, you know how this goes. Day 9, no warnings, we're looking good. Obviously, we don't have the explosives yet because we don't have... Why does this have nothing... Oh, because there's... Oh, yep, some genius deprioritized it. Alright, well, that's a thing. At least we have the nitroglycerin. Get these guys working on that. You know, it's funny, I can't actually... Until I click within, like, 2 things here. That's very strange. Wow, look how quickly this is filling up. Alright, well, that answers that question. Come on, explosives. I know you have the materials. Let's just make it work. Let's make this happen. We can also, maybe kind of soon, look into balloons. I can't remember if those in... Okay, they're up here. No, they're not. There we are. Trading balloons. Yeah, we do have to have the research for that, but everything else, minus the scaffolding, looks pretty good. Still continuing here. Nope, don't have that yet. See how quickly this comes in here? Anyway. Just about everything except the scrap metal. Okay, so we need to find more mineable scrap metal. We do have some here. It is in the infection zone. But this is probably about the best we can do at this exact moment because we don't have access anywhere else easily. I mean, I can't really get up here quickly without ladders. Same kind of deal here, but this is a little bit more approachable. It used to be you could not stack these platforms more than one on top of something else, but the crappy platforms certainly not. We have regular platforms, tall platforms with the help of the scaffolding. We have overhang walkways, so on and so forth. So, you know, we can't get up here yet, but that is what it is. Any others over here? That's kind of far away. It'd be cheaper, easier to get. Yeah. This is our best bet. I know it seems kind of dumb, but it is our best bet. I am going to go ahead and just say, you're fine, just get in there and don't worry about it. We have decontamination jail you can go to. Oh boy. Well. We're doing it. It's A-okay. Okay, what other kind of small improvements could we make while we're waiting for that to happen? I think somebody asked about putting the Peacock court back. Probably mispronounced that at this point, but see, that's not going to fit there. It's just, it's such a weirdly shaped thing. It doesn't want to go basically anywhere unless it's all the way out here. So if I have to... yeah, see, even like right here. Why is it so long? I'm not using this land for anything, but I also don't have a good spot to... Alright, whatever. Well, because you asked, I'll just put it here. But it does require scrap metal, so that's paused right now because I'm trying to get that built. But once this stuff gets harvested a little bit better, we will be in a better place. I'm not going to say the right place, but a better place. Alright, so now, what has to get done before I do anything else? These have to be destroyed. B for boom, B for boom. Alright, now, there's no reason for me to pause this. 30 science, which I do in fact have. This goes in the hole. And then what that's going to allow us to do, there's going to be a little bit more that we're going to have to change. But what that's going to allow us to do is, since the entrance is right here, you see that? We can blast out 2 more here and 1 here where this chestnut storage currently sits. That will allow us to have a staircase going down here, and then we can put the Architect's Lodge. Oh, please, come on. How did I get this disoriented? We'll put the Architect's Lodge in just like this. We'll flip it, and that will be totally fine. Everything will be just peachy. Of course, it is a little weird, little convoluted, but it's kind of fun too, right? You get to do these really strange building placements because that's what the game tries to get you to do, and that is totally fine. Now, this is also going to have the slight disadvantage of having bad water everywhere. But once it's built and sealed off, it will evaporate. The beavers can still go down there, and remember, it is not like regular Timberborn. These guys do have the ability to go to jail, not pass go, not collect $200, and just get detoxed while not consuming any water or food. Water beaver method is weird, and it's different, yes, but it's also fine. Alright, get out of here. Go do something else. Scavenger's gonna scavenge, I guess. Again, it's fine. It's how it has to be. We don't have better options yet. I can put a second scavenger flag here, and that will be a big improvement. Long term, we do need to think about ways to control the spread of this contamination here. It's just one of those things. So, seeing how this is progressing, if we cannot get at least a couple of these scaffoldings made in the next 2 days, we might be in trouble for the floodgate dam. I might have to just rip this out. We'll get all the materials back, but I might have to rip this out and put in the normal thing. We will see what happens. We have plenty of rice here, which is great to see. I think I'm going to go ahead and unplant right here so we can put another farmhouse and then an expansion on top, so we have all these crops taken care of. They can also reach some of these, but the rice especially is kind of an important thing to get right. Maybe just a little bit. Let these guys do what they're going to do. They're obviously bringing stuff in here. Scrap metal does have to go in to build this, and that is what it is waiting for. So on and so forth. The dynamite should have already been built. I don't know why that's taken so long. Things are getting a lot better. We have water. We have a lot of water, actually. But we do also have 121 beavers. That is not really something that I wanted to have, but we can fill more jobs now, despite there being 13 vacancies. There are 17 incapacitated beavers, which is why it's so important to have the half-fermented sake, which for some reason... Oh, I guess they just started. Okay. For some reason, we didn't have all that other stuff. So why? Ah, this one does have to have the worker there. But yeah, it's all right. It's fine. It is what it is. All right. B for boom. B for boom there. So this now has to get blasted out again. But once this is built, and once I put in a regular platform here, I can build, before I build any entrance to this, I can build the Architect's Lodge. This also, remember, I can't have the entrance to the Architect's Lodge be here because that's not where the stairs are going to allow it to go. The entrance to that could be here. Or, actually, let's pause for thinking. It's like when you're driving and you turn down the music so you can see better. Yeah, that's definitely how that works. Again, please, for the love of God, allow me to minimize this so I can see things. But if I pop this here... and I just have the one staircase for that, but then I don't have the ability to get down into the entrance there. If I put this here, then I can have one staircase go down to this level, and then this can come down from somewhere else, or if I get ladders or whatever. But for right now, this, once it's finished, is probably just going to serve as a platform for the Architect's Lodge until we get something else figured out. Ladders in this mod cost a lot of science. It is 800. We are not going to be there for a while. And guess what? They also require these platforms. So Just trying to give you guys a little bit more context on that. I will go ahead and get this put down. I do have enough dynamite for that. Should be okay. And then that, again, will block off all of this bad water here. Just got to let them do what they're going to do. Put that back on triple speed and continue. It would be lovely if we got a drought and not a bad tide, for the express purpose of letting some of this dry out and also not having to worry about the floodgate dam. But you know how it goes. You can't pick and choose. Just have to let it be how it is going to be. But if we can get some of these injured beavers healed with the power of half-fermented sake, then we might actually stand a chance. Just have to get these guys going on that. The half-fermented sake is not going into a recipe, so ideally the hauler beavers can come in and distribute it to the medical beds, which, you know, come to think of it. I only have 3 of these for injuries. I probably should have some more. I don't really have any great spots to do that, though. B for boom, nobody died, good job. Again, please let me hide these things. I know this is not something that can be done with the mod. It's just a way that it has to go. Now we build this. And boy howdy do I wish this was a quicker process, but we're doing what we can. How are we looking on scrap metal for this? 23 out of 40? Okay. Yeah, they still have plenty going on there. This has ground to a screeching halt. Ah, yes, it's because of the brain-boosting salts, because I stopped making those in favor of nitroglycerin. Alright, well, guess what? Now it's making brain-boosting salts again. These don't have half-fermented sake. They probably need to be prioritized. I think I deprioritized those at some point because we were trying to do something else. But I know this is in the process of making that, so that should be okay. Now, next couple days, we're probably going to find out if we have a drought or a bad tide coming up. That's going to inform a lot of our decision-making, depending on what it is. Drought would be preferable, like I think I've said. Okay, well, not on day 13, so it's probably going to be day 14 or 15. Everything else is looking okay. Alright, so this one's in here, getting uninjured. These will be done at some point. This does still have to have the scrap metal, so I guess I need to have that be a priority for scrap metal to go to so this can actually get finished, because that is what this is waiting on. I know we have the materials to do it. Just have to have the scrap metal here. There we go. There's 2 out of 3. Where's my 3 out of 3? I know you've got some scrap metal just sitting there. All right, now come finish the job. Come on. Come on, you got 10% building progress left. There you go. Good job. Good job. Now bring me all this stuff. Okay, how are we looking? Did they build this? No, because I paused it. That's right. They only need 3 more scrap metal, so that's good. That's good. We're very close. Very, very, very close. Because I cannot build this until I have a storage, and I cannot have a storage until I have this finished. Boy, oh boy. Well, they will certainly take their sweet time on this. I wish they wouldn't, but it is what it is. Everything else looking okay. And we still have like another 600 worth of capacity before I have to worry about putting any more tanks in. But we do need to start making more water storage. Okay, good. Drought is a very good thing for us to be getting into. Specifically because, if I turn this layer back on, all of this will be very good, very clean, pumpable water, and this isn't going to matter. So now we have a chance to do either the correct thing or the wrong thing. And I'm not entirely sure what is going to be what. But all of this water here is going to flow out this way unless we put something here or we put something here. So let's hit pause. I have space here. If I put in some of these crappy platforms, I have space to put in one of these simple dams just like this. That will keep the water level higher, which we were going to do anyway, but did not for whatever reason. And then what I can also do is I can come in here. If I unlock with the 30 science, I do not have, but I could put one of these tall and narrow lodges here. Or, remember, I cannot do a levee here because it doesn't line up like that. I could also just put a regular lodge here, super simple, doesn't have to be complicated, and this would just be additional beaver housing. given the scientific environment in which we find ourselves, I think this is probably the right way to go about doing things. But keep in mind, to get around to here, we have to have access through this. So everything has a reason for why I'm doing it. Just bear with me. That's all I ask. I put in these crappy platforms here. It's a lot of logs, but again, I do not have these yet. And I think this is the better way to do it without there being a bad tide, because if I just put this here, these would be completely separated. This all being together would allow all of these pumps to gather all of this water, which is going to have a chance to give us a really, really, really big leg up. This isn't going to be done anytime in the next couple of days. Well, it might be done at the very end of the drought prep cycle, but I'm not gonna risk it. I'm just gonna dump all of those logs. We have trees that can be cut. Not a big deal. It's just one of those things that's going to take a little bit of time. Plus, this is something we're gonna want to use anyway. So let's just bring those in as priorities. I know it's kind of a long walk to schlep this stuff out here, but you know it's fine. It is what it is. This also absolutely does not need to be dumping water out. Okay, well maybe it kind of does. But we'll have to remember to turn that back on when the drought hits, if that becomes an issue. Oh, what? How did... Alright, so now I made myself the idiot here. Come on, man. Alright, well... You know, maybe that is a little bit of fortuitous timing because... oh, never mind, it's 14 hours to make one of these. There's no chance. No chance that was going to work. And I have to research that in on the science. Okay, well, I mean, we need to have this anyway, so, it is what it is. Alright, see, the way this is set up is really, really hard to get in here without ladders. But, like I said, everything works out. It's gonna be okay. Just make that a lower priority. Alright, we're already making progress here. Very good. I know these guys are gonna do their best, even though it's a slow process. But as soon as these are in place, that's going to make it that much easier. And I'm pretty sure they can do this in 2 days. We have the materials to build. The dam should not be an issue, except maybe logs. But again, we have the technology. I don't think I need to be worried. I can always take some of these things down, but I don't think that's... Yeah, it's only 15 logs. That's not really that good of a deal. They're putting in the work. They'll be alright. We have 2 more days. Oh, these need to be cut down. Why are they not cut down? Is this guy out to lunch or what? Okay, well, they're working on it. They're making it work. Alright, come and finish the job. Don't make me do the 24-hour workday. I don't want to be the bad guy. Alright, so that's looking good. These guys are hungry and thirsty. Well, I know. I know. It's going to be okay. Don't you worry. Yeah, we'll let them take care of that. Don't need to worry about... Yeah, see, now the other kind of bad thing about the way I did this was it let some bad water in under here, but that will go away before too long. Hopefully. Hopefully. No guarantees. So this is actually supposed to be... See, here we go. The haulers, people always say you have too many things prioritized by haulers. There's one worker. He's going to be going all the way across the map. That is not sustainable. That's not going to work. Alright. That is done. I should have gotten in here immediately when that became finished. But now this can be built. Absolute highest priority. This can be built. Not highest priority. Oh, you know what? No. I can't put that there. That's dumb. That's dumb. This does have to be the tall and narrow lodge. I have the science to do it now, so that's fine. That has to go here or here. Probably... No, that doesn't matter. You can go here. But this can't be built before this is finished, so that will be paused. And we'll just have them take care of that. 1.3 days left. They do have this one dispatch of beavers here, but the rest of these trees aren't going to cut themselves. So these guys are pretty consistent, pretty easy to get all that stuff taken out. But right now this is like the race against time. I need I need logs. I need logs. What can I get logs from? Let's hit pause. Okay, there's 3 logs in here. Let's see, what other buildings even consume logs like that? 13. Okay. Easy. Hit pause on that. There's 11 logs in here. And we have... we don't have enough planks, really. Oh, we're out of crude saw blades anyway. Okay. Well... see, this is what happens. This happens when you forget stuff. Okay, so that can convert over to doing that. Who else has logs? Oh, good. We need to put that other one in. What can I get rid of that has logs? I don't really think anything does. Scrap metal storage over here is a terrible place for that, but you know how this goes. Alright, scrambled log stairs will get us some, but they do have to take it back to a place where they can, you know, store them first, which I don't think I can have a pile underwater here. I got 1 full day to get... see, this wasn't going to work. So this guy is doing that stuff. Nothing in here for the berries. What am I going to do? I got to have more of these cut. Tapper's flag. Actually, you know what? Do I have more storage for gears somewhere? I do. Okay. That is going to be the new Tapper's flag location. That will go there. The lumberjack flag probably should have always been down here. That is now a super priority. Go and get that so we can get this stuff cut down. How do I have... oh, okay, the 6 unemployed beavers I think are the ones who are in jail or whatever. Alright, boys and girls, it's time to make magic happen. Let's let's get 38 logs out of thin air. Oh man, what a generational fumble this is gonna probably end up being. Alright, before we get too crazy here. Oh, that's clay. Don't need to worry about that. That's only going to be 1 log. Okay, do we stand like any chance of getting this completed? I kind of feel like the answer is no. Okay, but these are getting cut. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Okay, that's probably fine. How are we looking elsewhere? Okay, oh, I did say I needed to pause that. Pause that. Who else has logs? I know we just went over this. 6 logs. Okay, you are paused. You have 22 logs. Immediately paused. Immediately paused. Get over here. Make it happen. Make it happen. I'm glad this did not get finished. If I really wanted to... if I really wanted to make you guys mad, I'd just demolish this thing, but... that's fine. It is what it is. Okay, we have 21 here. If I make it super long work hours, they might be able to get that done. I'm also going to start building this, because if I can pause this before it's completed, then we might stand a chance to at least finish the other thing. Okay, we've got 26, we've got 28. Okay, alright, I feel better about this now. They do have the very long trek to get the rest of this, but maybe. We should also keep in mind that if they don't finish it until partway through the first day, it's still going to save some of the water. And that's finished. Very good. Very, very, very good. Alright, just bring me the rest of these pieces and we're going to be in good shape, folks. The long work hours are not permanent. All we have to do is get this done and then you can go back to sleep. Not going to have to worry about it at all. Okay, 8-day drought. All we need is 2 more pine resin. This will not all flow out of this one thing too quickly. Alright, I just need those 2, and I need you to stick around and finish the job, okay? You can't leave. Good job. Alright, now you can go to bed. Back to 18-hour days. Alright, so we're not cheating by using that as a dam without being populated. Now it's a building. And boy, am I glad this worked. Now we have all this water to pump. It's all clean. I didn't have to dump anything here. And we are looking pretty good, folks. Pretty good. And this is making scaffoldings, of which we have 2. To build the dam, we don't need to have scaffoldings, but remember, to build the storage for the blueprints, we have to have one. I'm going to go ahead and get this unlocked, even though we don't need it for another 20 days. I'm going to get that unlocked, and I guess probably makes the most sense to just put one of these things in the general environs of one of these buildings that messes with it. So, oh god, now I have to figure this out. Floodgate dam, there we go. Fancy blueprints only will be stored. There are 5 of those in there that can get stored here. Don't need to store the unfancified ones. Hopefully, this can get done sooner rather than later. Alright, so, 8 days. We have absolutely no bad water coming through here, so let's pause those 2. Let's unpause this one so we can still gather some. And think about what we want to do next. Obviously, we have to have power to run all these things. The only thing that has power... love that sound, the screw press, which we do still have plenty of sunflower oil, so this is not a huge deal at this time. But, like we have over here with these 2, things require power that are not going to be usable without additional power. So, the only other option for power generation we have, besides these water wheels currently, is the engine, which requires 500 science to unlock and runs off of methane. If you want to be technical, we could build light gravity batteries up somewhere high and then just delete them and rebuild them, but that is an enormously wasteful way to do it. Solar arrays, so far in the future, we have to have the high-temperature foundry, I'm pretty sure, to make glass. Pretty sure that's what that comes... whatever it is, it's a building we don't have access to. And then we have the basic nuclear reactors, which require the PhD in nuclear physics, which requires the ENS, which requires blah, 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 blah. So, the engine is going to be the next logical step. It makes 1,000 HP, which is really, really good. It's also different for Waterbeavers. It looks like this. And, like I said, it requires methane. So how do you make methane? Good question. Methane, I am 90% sure... if I can remember where the thing goes. I'll just use Tool Finder. I'm pretty sure... come on. Okay, the fermentation barrel. That's right. It requires these nenifars. Where do those come from? Where do they go? Where do they come from, Cotton Eye Joe? We have a couple ways to get those. You can plant them with the help of... where is that building? Well, one of these buildings, the tree farm, I'm pretty sure. Or a tree nursery. Maybe does that. Outside of that, maybe it's the large farmhouse. I really ought to just read before I start talking. Yes, the large farmhouse, which is not that expensive, 75 science, and it has to have a blueprint. Where do you get the blueprint for the farmhouse? That's actually a very good question. I do not remember. So, I wonder if Tool Finder is going to have this again. Okay. Oh, it's the Architect's Lodge. Of course. But it's 12.5 days. Okay, which one of these recipes is it? ENS, super fertilizing, oversized water pump, balloon trader. Large farmhouse blueprints. We might actually be able to research this right now. Do I have enough 50 sheets of paper? I see 0 sheets of paper. Okay, well that's not comforting. But now that we know that's where this goes, if we are absolutely sure we can afford to dedicate 12.5 days to getting that taken care of, then we will start that process. Scaffoldings are very important things. They're very slow to build early on, but we do have the scroll display, and this is actually just about ready to be finished. Before they do, all these exhausted beavers, because I don't have 24 hours, sorry, but yeah, I don't need to keep any of this. They can just let that be what it's going to be. I'm going to set that to 0 because it needs to be 0 so these guys can keep pumping. Let's see, what, 12.5 days minimum, not including getting the actual materials to not have any more of these platforms. Is there anything that absolutely has to have a platform to be built that we're going to want to have in the next episode and a half? I guess I have to think about that. I mean, we talked about ladders, but that's 800 science. I'm not going to have that for a long time. So I think we can safely get rid of that. Now, the spiral staircase is really cool. That could be a very useful thing for us, but it's 120 science. I think it's a lot easier for us to do that the ladders. Is this flippable? It is. Okay, so if we decide that's what we're going to do, then all I have to do is blast this down, and I blast that out, and then I can just have 2 spiral staircases. That is a lot more achievable of a goal. I think that's worth investing our time and energy in. So let's do that. I took that back to brain-boosting salts already, but it doesn't have bad water. We already know how that goes. And this can go back to making pencil sets. No, I have 18 of those. That's probably not too many, but I don't have any more nitroglycerin anyway. Okay, pencil sets is fine. Paper, I've got to turn this back on because we're not making it. Somebody left a comment saying we need to have more paper mills. Yes, but the goal is for us to build an actual paper mill, because that's a lot faster. It's in half an hour you get 5 sheets of paper instead of, what is this, 5 hours for one? Yeah, you flip that recipe on its head and it's so much better. But it requires power. And, well, we're not going to have power for at least another 7 days. And we also don't have 250 science. So, everything in time, we'll get there. It's going to be okay. Going to be alright. So, we're going to let them take care of the rest of this. Not much scrap metal left to be found, I don't think. But once this one finishes, gets to 100%, I'm going to swap this over to the large farmhouse blueprint, because that's going to be a very important thing. And there she goes. So, the 50 sheets of paper is going to be an issue. But the rest of this, we're pretty much already good. The sunflower seeds, if they're going into this building, will be able to just get diverted before they get eaten, and we're already seeing that happen. So, yeah, paper is going to be the issue. B for boom, B for boom. Alright, so now you see this has been completely dried out, which is what we want to see. I can also just do regular stairs here, but because of the way those are set up, that is going to be a big challenge to get up here. Not impossible, but definitely more than a little annoying. All that being said, we have 3 scrap metal here, which means without putting some stairs to get over to the rest of this, I can pretty safely get rid of these, and I can reroute them to go this way to get up to this part. So once these little 3 pieces of ruins are done, I think that's what's going to make the most sense. Instead of waiting for 120 science to get the spiral staircase, we're just... I need this to be operable when the good cycle comes back. Just got to let it be what it's got to be. Paper and brain boosting salts notwithstanding. These guys can't do anything else until they have more bad water. Actually, you know what? We have 4 beavers who aren't working. Let's... Come on, click, please. Thank you. Let's just, you know, throw a whole bunch of manpower at this and hope that that's going to be fine. I guess I have enough except for planks. So let me make sure I don't outbuild my planks for all of this stuff. I have logs, so I know that's... Okay, that's done. Alright, let's get that out of there. So this is going to be complicated. How many times have I said that? Too many, probably. But if I put a staircase here, that brings it up to this level, which means it has to come up again, which means I just have to blast this out. Or I could have... I was trying to preserve this, but you know it really doesn't need to be that complicated. I'm very good at, you know, overcomplicating things. I know that is a very frequent criticism that people levy at me, which is completely deserved. But I'm trying. I'm actually trying to get better about it. All that being said, I need to be able to have at least another 8 planks. So if I just build 1 more of these, I think that's going to help. Okay, so triple speed it is. Let these guys do what they're going to do, and then we will be ready when we have some bad water coming in here, and that should, I mean, not permanently solve our problems, but it's really going to help. That is the way we like to do things here. See, isn't it nice not having all this beautiful clean water just flowing out the end of the map? You're actually able to use it. Love to see that. Absolutely do. And we have rice. We don't have a lot of other food besides rice balls, but we certainly do have rice balls. And we have some cabbages that are being harvested. Very, very good to see that. I can put another one of these over here. All these beavers without jobs. It's a delicate balance, but we'll be okay. B for boom. Very good. Why do I keep pausing the game? That will go there. Get that built. And that is going to be all she wrote for that. Let's unplant this cabbage, 18%, because I do want to send them down here to grab the rest of this metal, and eventually, not right now, but eventually this will end up being one of those abyss things we have so much fun with. Boy howdy, a whole 6 sheets of paper. So, all of these beavers who have nothing to do can be employed if I had another medium cauldron at another primitive paper mill. Where do you get the medium cauldron? Well, if you've been following along at home, it gets made in the factory. And I don't need to give that whole speech again. One, we don't have the 300 science, but... Oh, actually, the factory makes solar panels. Oh, but it doesn't make the glass, of course. Yep, high temperature foundry uses the quartz and the methane to do all that. So, we're making progress, folks. And of course, now this is a thing, but there's no bad water, so it is what it is. I have 9 unemployed beavers. I think we're okay. I think we will be just fine. Everything else here is looking okay. See, I need more storage. I don't have a lot of good spots for that. I say as I have this entire thing just kind of sitting on whatever. I mean, the mechanics lodge probably should still be operating. This is going to get pumped completely dry before too long, but we still have 4.5 days. I don't want to have too many homeless beavers here. I just got all these beavers that don't have a job. I know, it's absolutely just like gut-wrenching to see this mismanagement of of beaver labor, but it's gonna get better, folks. It's gonna get better. Why is this set to planting? I guess that doesn't really matter. People keep saying that the red cabbage is a way to, you know, stop these guys from being annoying, so I guess that's fine. It doesn't really do anything. But what can I have the rest of these guys do without increasing the population? Obviously, I would love to have another one of these. Oh, is this finally the time where I make a serious effort of trying to get a factory going? Well, I have the tools, I have the tar, I have gears. I don't have the scrap metal, but that should not be an obstacle. I do have the clay, I do have that, I don't have the planks yet, but I will, and okay. It's such a big step, because you really, before you build this, you really should have enough to build that, and another anvil is the absolute first thing this does, which is going to require a lot more scrap metal and a lot more coal. But the coal can be, you know, gathered independently of that. Alright, I think that's going to have to be what the next expenditure of science is. Of course, we do still have to feed them brain-boosting salts. Again, everything comes back to these tiny little choke points, but we're getting better at it. So, that is going to be the next big thing, is to get more metal. I can put another one of these scrap things back in place. I hate to have these wooden stairs be used for just single things. But this is 60 scrap metal, and this is another 60. That's worth it. That's worth it. And they do have access right here. Yeah, one of these is a scavenger thing? I don't think so. Well, that's fine. This guy here will still be able to reach all of that, and I guess that is fine. I do not have enough planks to build all of this, nor will I have any more planks unless I do some tooth cut planks, which I guess if I want to employ some beavers, I might as well turn this thing on, make a couple more of those, even if it does take a very long time. It gives them something to do, helps solve a problem. Alright, we're already over an hour. Yikes. Okay, well. We did get this built. That was such a huge, huge goal. I'm glad that got accomplished. I don't have anybody still working in these buildings, right? No? Good, okay. Making the progress, folks. Making the progress. We have 10 sheets. 10 sheets of paper. This, at its glacially slow pace, is still producing paper. 5 hours per sheet. Gonna take a long time. But now this guy can go over and get more of that stuff at a time of their choosing, wherever they are. I do not know. There we go. Good job. Alright, so that's going to help solve that problem. Obviously, we have to have science. Which, again, brain-boosting salts. We will get there. Do not worry about that. Gears still going. How long? 5.5 days? Okay, these are going to be fine. Irrigation over here probably is a good thing to get into at some point. Doesn't have to be a tremendously large priority, but it probably should be some type of priority. Yeah, I don't think there's really that much else that we need to be super concerned with. I know the amount of pumping that's occurring now is probably a little bit too much. This is going to dry up in another very short amount of time. But none of these crops are going to die from that. I think that's going to be fine. We have plenty of rice. We actually have full storage of rice that should be used to make half-fermented sake. I guess I could make some more fermentation barrels, but, you know, that's not really a great place to put anything. I'm trying not to raise the population too much, but I guess I'm going to have to put another farmhouse and then an assistant farmer here just to give some more jobs. Eventually we are going to want to have those. Alright, so these have been completely depleted. Again, I can't really pause these because I don't want to kick these beavers out on the street. But it'll get back to normal soon enough. We have 1,700 water. The food situation still hasn't improved that much. And now the population's grown so much, I am worried this might start causing issues. But, I mean, if we can just get some bad water in, we're going to be golden. We're going to be golden, folks. See, this is fine here. Using much less water, but now I'm kind of concerned about the rest of this stuff. It's an eternal balancing act that is maybe borderline impossible to truly figure out, but I love this mod anyway. 16 sheets of paper. We're getting there. Now the big challenge is, like I said, figuring out food. I mean, we still have the rice balls, so we're not going to die. We just need a lot more cabbage. We need a lot more cabbage. And all of this is going to be polluted land, so we can't really go too much with that. Got to have more cabbages. Mushrooms alone will not sustain us. And where in the world am I supposed to put more cabbages? Obviously this is good. I'm glad we have this. I see more and more of this is just going to get contaminated. Maybe not. Actually, how many builders do I have? I should have... No, not that building. I've got... That's haulers, I've got that's haulers, and I've got that's builders. So I have 7. 7 builders. If I were to go ahead and try to move this out a little bit more, would that be worth it? Oh, absolutely it would. Okay. So... I have enough wood. I'm not going to worry about, you know, killing all these trees. Plus, they're going to just get rid of this. Let's do this. I cannot see a single thing here. Okay. I mean, these brambles are so busy. My God. All right. Let's just do this. Let's get this completely removed, best as we can, and then start putting in fences to slowly reclaim more space. It is going to be a slow, annoying process, but, like I said, gotta have more cabbages at almost any cost. So as soon as I see these start to disappear, I'm going to take these fences down, and because they can't, the brambles can't spread to a piece of land that's planted anyway. Just got to make sure that we are, you know, staying on top of all of this. Get that out of there. Cabbage out of there. Or cabbage in there, rather. You just have this go straight the way through. Alright. Okay, that's probably fine. Just plant my cabbage. Plant all of this as cabbage as fast as possible. And let the healing begin. I know, absolutely riveting content here. But I do need to briefly monitor this just to make sure everything is going just fine. So, while we are sitting here waiting for this all to be unceremoniously removed, I guess we can go ahead and do our end of episode stuff. You guys don't need to see this just constantly being maintained, do you? I really appreciate you guys watching the series, giving me some helpful ideas. Always appreciated. Beard boosters, of course, subsidizing me, subsidizing the channel, and making things run a little bit more smoothly so I don't have to worry about sponsors or decreased ad revenue or any of the business kind of whatever. It just enables us to have fun with the games, and that's what matters most to me. So I'm always going to be appreciative of that. Wow, that was a sneaky wild bramble going in there. But yes, you guys truly do make it possible, and I cannot thank you enough. Really appreciate the support. That being said, it's about time to end this episode at... oh, this is already over an hour 10 now. See, that's what happens when I get engrossed. I'm having fun with the game, like we're supposed to. But you get the idea. That is rice. That is not what's supposed to go there. I'm going to have them finish taking this stuff out, and then we're going to probably get through to the start of cycle 14, and that is going to be a good spot to end it for today. Made some good progress. Definitely some stuff could have get done better, but that is the way things go. These blasted brambles spread down the path at the speed of light, as one does. So I, unfortunately, am going to have to... I guess just... oh, come on. Can I seriously not... can I seriously not put this in here? You gotta be kidding me. This already instantly... alright. This... this is why. This is why I have so many problems with this. Alright. Now this is your life mission, is to get these blasted things out of here. There you go. There you go. Make it happen. And the rest will come in due time. As long as I can prevent the path from getting overtaken, we might be in some sort of okay shape. See, look how fast those go in. Man, what a pain in the butt. I hate these things. We're just going to sit here until this is gone. Then they can think about what they did. Or maybe they can't because it'll be gone. That's also not how that works. Alright, that one's done. Get this out of here, man. Come on. Come on. Do me the kindness. Alright. Immediately hit pause. Immediately put in the wooden fence gate. That's it. That's it. You're done. It's over. Alright. Cycle 14. Day 1. We planted a lot more cabbages, and we will continue planting cabbages as this land is reclaimed. I am so happy with how this has gone today. Once again, I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate all the support, more than you can ever understand. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you back in this playthrough on Monday, and with the 1K challenge tomorrow. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.